Hello, good evening. Haven't done a video for a while. So anyway, yeah, they never legally recorded judgment against me. I don't know that they haven't done it till I get downloaded in court by the Most High, which we call God, right? Me and my buds. That's what we call him. Lot is the Most High. He is the Most High. So anyway, he says, to me in court, ask the judge, how come, if you owe a judgment, how come they've never legally recorded against you on the court docket? This isn't a legal recording, right? It just has a word judgment, but it doesn't say who it's for, how much it's for, the interest rate, la, 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 la. There's a huge thing. It takes up, quite a bit of space for a legally recorded judgment. Well, it's kind of weird. I mean, it would say judgment for blah. So this is a trick, right? And so anyway, Judge Heath already judged it, not denied. It went through the Supreme Court. They take me back. They relitigate judgment. They give me a fake judgment. It's not legally recorded. So I'm kind of like, okay, I don't even realize it. They know I don't know that. They don't know that I don't know the case went through the Supreme Court. At that date, I don't know until I'm going to get downloaded. That's how he works, he teaches me along the way and downloads me, right? So that's how it works. So then they even amend it. So they're like, oh, well, they just made a clerical error. Well, you didn't do it twice. You didn't do it twice. So we know you're not telling the truth. There was no clerical error, huh? Because you don't do a clerical error twice, really, in that profession. Do you think that's true? I don't think they do it once, no. But where were they sure to do it, right? They were sure to do it at the Department of Natural Resources, right? They call it the Services Division, or I forget what they call it. But anyway, I got a phone call from them today. I didn't answer it, and then I called it right back, and it was this division. It was Department of Natural Resources. But anyway, I forget what they call it. But anyway, yeah, they put the amended judgment and they recorded it there, like a year later. I think they were testing the water, to see, well, will she figure it out? Will she figure it? No, not until that trust fund's brought up. It's not going to be figured out until then. He had a long journey to take me on, so he wasn't going to download me yet. He wanted me to find the trust fund. So, there's we don't know who it's for. That's not how you record one. And amended judgment. They've never, they've been hounding me for this, but it doesn't say who it's to. PFD would never garnish my PFDs, even when they were sent or written, because they went, what? They have to make sure that there's a legally recorded judgment, which means they're sent a piece of paper, big deal. Lawless Alaska has the nickname for a reason, Lawless Alaska. So what is PFD going to do? They're going to verify there was a legal judgment recorded under Civil Rule 58 and 54B on the court docket. So that clerk at Permanent Fund Division has to go into the court docket and has to look for a legally recorded judgment. And they could never find one recorded against me, right? It doesn't matter to them if it's recorded there, because what do they know? They know this came from fraud. This wasn't legally, there was no legal recorded judgment. This should have never been recorded against my name at the Department of Natural Resources. Not if it wasn't legally recorded on the docket. I mean, there's the word judgment to who, for what, for how much. Yeah, nothing, it doesn't say anything, that's all it says. That's all it says. And so that was it. When we went to that hearing on stop stealing the trust fund money with creditors affidavit, God downloads me and says, ask the judge one question. If you have a judgment, how come they've never legally recorded it in the court docket? Because Judge Heath already judged it. Yeah, he already judged it. It denied back on 1/1/2019 from his 6/15/2018 omnibus order. So anyway, of course, at the time when I get a hold of the police on March 12th, 2025, I don't know this. I don't know. Or I would have said to the Wasilla Police Department, I'd have been writing to Adam, and I think that was him, and saying, hey, they didn't even record a legal judgment against me on the court docket. So you shouldn't be getting any writs, or nobody in the division should be getting any writs to serve me, because they never even legally recorded a judgment against me. And they're supposed to do that. Let's see. Well, they're past the 5-period mark. So let's see. They're supposed to, if they were going to do it, they were supposed to do it in 2017. Judge Heath wouldn't do it. He refused to. So in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, I think it's a little past the statute of limitations. Yeah, I do. So anyway, yeah, this is just, yeah, this was just all, fraud. Now, when I did send the police this, they stopped the writs when I said Kevin was hiding his California jurisdiction. And then the police recorded on the dot. They told the courthouse they weren't serving me any writs at this time because it wasn't within their jurisdiction to do so. But then they said something like at a later date, they discuss it. Well, still, but I never told him, hey, they say I've got a judgment, but they've never legally recorded it on the court docket. Do law enforcement check to make sure judgments are legally recorded on the court docket? I don't think so. No, not in a senior abduction. Yeah, no, I don't think so. So yeah, this is pretty scary. This is pretty scary in this day and age. Yeah. Well, the case got reopened. It shouldn't have. It went through the Supreme Court. It should have been permanently closed. Case over. And they don't say why they're opening it. And then they give me a judgment, but they don't say, they say you have one, but they'll never put it against me in the court docket because they already know Judge Heath already judged it. So they're not going to do that. They're just going to say, see, the word judgment's on there. That means you have a judgment, which means they're lying to me, right? They're lying to me, flat out lying to me. Okay, then they amend it, right? They amend the judgment and they say that this was a clerical error. The clerk just screwed up. Whoopsie daisy, clerical error. That's all it was. And then they did the clerical error again. They still wouldn't put who it was to, right? And I'm this horrible person that deserves this treatment because why am I horrible? Because everybody stole a trust fund from me. That's why I'm horrible. Yeah, And now they wanted to steal my entire estate and the whole thing, and that's all this case was about. And so now, I've got some defamation recorded over there at the Department of Natural Resources, right? So there we go. If you can't put it on the court docket, you shouldn't be putting it here at the Department of Natural Resources. No, you shouldn't, but you will because you can get away with anything, can't you? It's lawless Alaska. Anyway, bye.